Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Starting Topic.
Welcome.
This is Ben.
That's Ryan.
Yeah. And today we're going to be talking about continuing on my Steam Next Fest grind. Next Fest is now over, but I still have a few games from the leftover that I want to talk about. We're going to talk about this mystery box. We're going to talk about our cool new overlay maybe a little bit.
It's got the title right on the box. You can see it on the video
They
footage.
can barely. That's fine.
It's a mystery to our listeners.
Yeah. They don't know what's in it. What are you going to talk about, Ben?
Well, besides my UFO 50 review, I'm going to be talking about Bug Hunter later.
Bug Hunter.
But I'm also going to pick our starting topic.
Our starting topic, which is...
Donkey Kong Bananza.
Bananza!
Specifically, the Nintendo Direct that came out a few days before recording.
Yeah, I just watched it. First time.
Literally did like a live reaction recording, and it was pretty lukewarm.
Yeah, it's not worth seeing. Also, it's Nintendo, so we can't show any of it.
Yeah, literally, like, none of that. That's the instant demonetized, have the video taken down, have, like, lawyers and police sent to our house.
Yeah, we have to get executed like that one dude who did emulation.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's talk about Donkey Kong Bonanza. I'm excited.
I am ridiculously excited for that game, but
Yeah.
also I'm not going to get it.
Right, because I have to get a Switch 2 to get it, and I'm not paying like $500. Is it? No, it's like $350, I want to say.
It's not the Switch 2 system that's super expensive. It's every game you're going to eventually get for it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a mounting cost issue, and that's where I'm like, well, I don't know if that's worth it. At the very least, I'm not going to get like a on-release console.
No, absolutely not.
Like, because those are always like the buggiest ones.
They're buggy. I mean, it's already released, isn't it, technically?
Yeah, it just came
Yeah.
out a couple of days ago.
Yeah, and like, I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard issues, but the only game that's on there right now is not Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
which
Donkey
it
Kong's
should
not
have
out
been.
yet. It's just Mario Kart.
It's just Mario Kart, and like all the games that they would port over from the Switch, and it's like I don't fucking care about Mario Kart.
I care about Mario Kart, but not enough to get a Switch for.
I'm probably in the minority. I think Mario Kart's a bad game.
Whoa, super minority. It's one
Now,
of the most popular video games there
I understand, and I'm not saying that you're bad for liking it, and I'm not saying that like it inherently is an experience that's not worth having either. I think it's a bad game, but I think that in the right context, it's fun.
I think
for people.
I think Mario Kart hits that party game that level of casualness that is perfection. Where Mario Party doesn't reach for me and Smash Brothers does not reach for me, Mario Kart is that thing that allows the gamers and the non-gamers to come together. It is not something like I know there's people who play Mario Kart like seriously and like competitively, and I'm not talking about the speedrunners who do like time trials. I'm talking about the people who like play online against each other.
Streamers.
Yeah, those guys I don't really take very seriously. Like, I've watched the videos, I know the mechanics, I know the depth of Mario Kart, and I'm like, brah, play a different game.
Well, okay. That's kind of like my point, though. I'm probably one of the people that's just
So
gonna
our
play a
starting
different
topic
game.
today is Mario Kart World, as it turns out.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. I just don't like it. I'd rather talk about Donkey Kong, but I would like to make one point.
Okay.
I hate being in the lead and then being in last within the matter of a second because of a bunch of fucking items.
Yeah. Well, that differs very much between game to game. Like, you probably would have liked the DS one the best, because that one was the one that was best balanced for, like, someone playing by themselves against computers.
That's the one I actually played.
Yeah. That's probably still my favorite one, was the one for the DS. I put the most hours in that one over any other Mario Kart game.
Yeah, without question.
But transitioning from Mario Kart to Donkey Kong, one of the things that people noticed in Mario Kart World is that there is a disproportionate number of costumes distributed around the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some characters got lots of costumes, and some characters didn't get any. And two of the characters that were most notable for not getting, like, any costumes were Donkey Kong and Pauline.
Huh.
And now it is revealed in the new Nintendo Direct that they're going to have a shitload of costumes for both of the characters, a la like how they did in Mario Odyssey. And I'm wondering if that was literally on purpose.
Yeah, well, it was definitely on purpose. The idea being... I feel like one thing that the Switch 2 was kind of proven is that Nintendo's kind of gotten greedier.
Super greedy. You have no idea, dude.
I barely do. I have some idea, but like, damn, bro. I didn't know they could be that evil.
So as someone who has followed the history of Nintendo their entire way, they've gone through periods of like massive greed versus massive, like, you know, kowtowing, just going to their innovation and all that stuff. And the Switch era is one of their greediest by far.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It really feels like with the passing of Satoru Iwata that like the culture of Nintendo has really changed, and that kind of saddens me because he was like one of the coolest figures in all of game industry. Like without like any competition.
Didn't he like make the engine for like 10 different Nintendo games when he started? Like,
it's so
scratch?
much. Okay, it would actually get. I could have an entire episode just talking about the accomplishments of Satoru Iwata. He almost single-handedly is the reason why Nintendo is a successful company today, and he did that while not working for Nintendo.
Oh, yeah, damn.
Like, he was the founder of HAL Laboratories, which is a game development studio that's most famous for the Kirby series. And they had a close partnership with Nintendo during the early years, and they did a lot of like co-development with them. Like they took on a lot of jobs to make a lot of the early NES games that were literally produced under Nintendo's name. Like they didn't get any credit for it as HAL Laboratories. They just got paid for the work. So like a lot of Nintendo's early successes were made by HAL Laboratories, and specifically like a lot of the big, like the best ones, like Balloon Fighter compared to like Ice Climbers, that was programmed by Satoru Iwata himself. That was him reverse engineering Atari's Joust. Like literally playing the game and like, okay, how do I program this exact game?
Dang.
And he just did it himself. He's
That's
also
fucking
famous
cool.
for like reprogramming like all of Pokemon Gold and Silver to optimize their code so that they could have Kanto and Johto. Like that's a kind of a misunderstood story, but like the dude was just a coding wizard.
We have to get back to we pivoted again. We gotta get back to Donkey Kong.
Well, these are like Nintendo's got so many interesting like things coming off of its history and stuff.
I genuinely do think we should have an episode where you just tell me all the information about this man and all about the history of Nintendo. That'd be kind of cool. But pivoting back to Donkey Kong Country, it looks fucking
Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Whatever.
Well, it kind of matters because Donkey Kong is like Nintendo's original success story franchise and has never had a stable identity.
No, like they had the show which showed Donkey Kong as like a
wacky cartoon character,
and then they had the Smash series, and in the Smash series, which is the one that I'm most familiar with, he is like a kind of a stoic, like silly but strong character that you can rely on.
Well, how about we do a quick little history of Donkey Kong games?
Sure.
Because there aren't that many.
No.
So we start with, Donkey Kong, the original arcade success, which very famously was meant to be a Popeye game originally.
Oh, right.
So Mario is taking the place of Popeye. Lady, now recently renamed Pauline, is taking the role of Olive Oil. And Donkey Kong, our title character, is actually Bluto, the bad guy.
Weird.
Yeah, and for some reason, like when Shigeru Miyamoto like redesigned all these characters, like pivoted from the Popeye concept to the new characters that he designed himself, he thought that Donkey Kong had the most appeal as like a mascot.
Yeah.
And that's why he's the one, on the title. So Donkey Kong Jr. Is the follow-up to that, where Mario is now the bad guy. Donkey Kong now needs to be saved by Donkey Kong Jr., who's a new character who has never appeared since. No, he was in Super Mario Kart for the Super Nintendo.
Okay.
And I think Mario Tennis for the N64, the first one, and then has never appeared since.
And it's not Diddy Kong.
No, it's not Diddy Kong.
Okay.
Diddy Kong was invented by Rare, but we'll get to that. The next Donkey Kong game, Donkey Kong 3, is a shooter where you play as Stanley the Bugman, and Donkey Kong breaks into like these greenhouses, and he releases a bunch of bugs, and you play as a little guy with a aerosol spray thing, and you got to shoot the bugs, and it's basically Space Invaders, and it's not very popular, and it's not very good.
I didn't know this existed.
Exactly.
It's not even showing up, actually. I'm realizing.
That's it. That's Donkey Kong 3 right there.
All right.
So, yeah, viewers probably can't see this, but he's like, if you just Google Donkey Kong 3, if you've never seen this game. So that little character, Stanley the Bugman, one of Nintendo's forgotten icons.
I can kind of see it. Yeah, but Stanley the Bugman right here, right?
Yep. Oh, no, that's one of the bugs. Oh, that's him down there.
That's Stanley the Bugman. That's Donkey Kong. Okay. That's weird. I didn't know that
It's
existed.
super weird. And really, the actual Donkey Kong 3 is the official Nintendo Popeye game.
Right.
Like, it is Popeye, but like it feels more like a sequel to Donkey Kong 1 and 2 than Donkey Kong 3 does. Donkey Kong 3 isn't like a little platformer like the other ones are.
No.
It's a shooter.
That's weird.
It's so weird.
All right.
So Donkey Kong gets forgotten about for quite a while until he is revived on the Game Boy for Donkey Kong 94. Donkey Kong 94 is advertised as a remake of the original Donkey Kong, but for the Game Boy.
Yeah.
It is also, low-key, one of the greatest games ever made and completely forgotten about today.
Why is it one of the greatest games ever made, Ben?
So you take the Donkey Kong. You're separating Donkey Kong from the Mario franchise now.
Yep.
Mario's got this new identity as the star action platformer.
Yeah.
So Donkey Kong is now turned into this puzzle platformer. The first 4 levels are the entirety of the arcade game.
Right.
And then the game expands. And it turns into this expansive fucking puzzle platformer where Mario has a ton of different little acrobatic moves, and there's tons and tons of little game mechanics and stuff, and over like 190-something levels. Like, it is massive, it is fun, it is brilliant, and Nintendo has never re-released it. Literally until a couple of weeks ago, they finally put on Nintendo Switch Online.
Oh, okay.
Finally. After all these goddamn years. They made a pseudo sequel called Mario vs. Donkey Kong for the Game Boy Advance, which is one of my all-time favorite games, and that got like a remake on the Switch before this game ever got a port.
That's weird.
It's insane. It's insane to me. This is also where Pauline is officially reinvented. If you look at the box art, you can see her design with the red dress, the brown hair.
Ah, yeah.
There's also where she got the name. Oh, look, actually, Donkey Kong Jr.
does
make an appearance. I forgot. There's some levels where you get to play as Donkey Kong Jr. in this game. This
Oh,
game
cool.
rules. It is so good. Highly recommended. Like a classic game.
Might have to give it a try.
So Jeremy Parrish is a writer and game journalist.
Yeah.
And he is an expert on the Game Boy. He's doing a project where he writes a review for literally every single Game Boy release worldwide.
Nice.
Which
sounds
is
like a lot.
It's insane. We're talking about thousands of shovelware titles.
Yeah.
But if any person can definitively say what the best game is on the Game Boy, it's him. And he said it's Donkey Kong.
All right. I'm going to keep that in mind. I might try that later.
Yeah, I don't know if it's your kind of thing. You might want to try Mario vs. Donkey Kong as like an updated version of that, but I think the original Donkey Kong is better.
My theory being that I like puzzle games, so.
Yeah, it's just an awesome puzzle platformer.
Yeah.
So Rare takes the franchise now.
Sure do.
Rare has a interesting relationship with Nintendo in that they're literally the only Western studio that they seem to like working with.
Apparently, because they don't. I don't think they work with them today. Because nowadays, Rare does Sea of Thieves and nothing else.
Yeah, no, they don't work with Nintendo at all. They're officially bought by Microsoft.
But back in the day,
they were tight.
It was this. It was Banjo-Kazooie part of
Yep,
Nintendo.
Banjo-Kazooie was a
and that's
Rare
like
Nintendo franchise.
One of Rare's at least biggest breakout hits.
It was probably the biggest success of the N64, honestly. Like, not counting like the main Nintendo franchises that were recognizable. Like, this is something brand new that just exploded in popularity.
My perception would be Conker's Bad Fur Day, but I think that's just like looking backwards, seeing as like nowadays one cartridge of Conker's Bad Fur Day is like $300.
Well, that's more because of the rarity of the cartridges themselves.
Yeah. But anyway, next game?
So, Donkey Kong Country. Rare takes the IP and creates a new identity, a new world, a new set of characters for Donkey Kong. They create a platforming franchise like Mario.
This is probably closer to my interpretation of Donkey Kong.
So, Donkey Kong Country is actually the very first video game I've ever played.
Oh,
ever.
Really?
Like, literally, like, I played it over at my cousin's house on their Super Nintendo. It was my first experience with video games. It is the game that hooked me on video games. I am obsessed with Donkey Kong Country.
That's why you like monkeys. Makes sense.
It is actually, like, I love gorillas. This is a thing that is known about me, listeners.
It's true.
Like, I like King Kong. I like Donkey Kong. I like the Planet of the Apes series. I don't know why. I like apes. I'm an ape-out kind of guy. And I think it goes back to Donkey Kong Country, and specifically this one detail, okay? This one fixation in my child brain, which is that he rides on a rhinoceros, okay? And I always loved, besides gorillas, I always loved, like, fantasy stuff and, like, knights on horseback.
Yep.
And the idea of, like, a knight on a horseback and a gorilla on a rhino, it's like, yes, rhinos are just
perfect.
the equivalent of horses for gorillas.
It's just 1-to-1.
I loved it.
Perfect sense.
I think Donkey Kong Country is a masterpiece, but very famously, it was hated by Shigeru Miyamoto. Or maybe not hated, but kind of disliked.
Yeah.
So he felt that its success mainly came from its, at the time, incredibly impressive graphics. I think that he is not giving the game enough credit to its design. Donkey Kong Country is a very, slow exploratory platformer. There's tons and tons and tons and tons of secrets compared to, like, the very, very fast athletic style of Mario. And I also really like, because this is also when Diddy gets invented. Diddy is Rare's character, not Nintendo's.
Right.
And there's actually kind of weird tension there because Nintendo still kind of has to license it from them.
Sure do.
And they like kind of own the property, but not completely own it. And they don't like using other companies' stuff because IPs are like Nintendo's thing.
Yeah, and that would, but like Diddy is so synonymous with Donkey Kong, you can't get rid of him.
Yeah, he's such an iconic mascot. And this is probably why Rare decided for their sequels to Kong Country to make Diddy the main character of, the sequel, and then Dixie, their other character they made, the main character of the third title. So Donkey Kong isn't even playable in either of those. So now they're not there. It's Rare that's avoiding using Nintendo's characters.
Right.
I've never actually beaten Donkey Kong Country 2 or 3. Arguably, they're better than the original because they really, really like
they expand.
Yeah, they expand on the whole like two-character, different move sets and the whole exploratory things.
Yeah,
they're arguably better. DK3 in particular, I've never wanted to play because like I never wanted to play as Dixie and this character Kiddy Kong, who's like this big annoying baby character that was forgotten after this game. I also just don't like how a lot of the graphics look in that. Like, graphically impressive, but, like, the character designs just kind of look annoying.
Yeah, I can see that.
All right. Rare's last foray with the Donkey Kong franchise is with Donkey Kong 64, which is their follow-up to Banjo-Kazooie. And Donkey Kong 64 is not nearly as successful as Banjo-Kazooie.
Which I think is a travesty.
I love Donkey Kong 64. One of my favorite games, but here's the thing, it came out at the wrong time.
Yeah.
At this point, everyone was getting sick of big 3D platformers where you have to, like, do the collectathon thing. Mm-hmm. And this particular game takes the idea of collectathon and literally multiplies it by 5 by having you do everything 5 times with 5 characters.
I totally agree with that sentiment, honestly, because I haven't played this one, but I've watched people play this and I've watched videos about it, and that's easily one of the most annoying complaints. People are going around like, "Oh, this banana's blue. I can't get that because I'm Donkey Kong."
You can literally see the collectibles that you can't get.
Yeah, and that's like, no. But I really think a open world Donkey Kong game would have been dope back then, and I'm glad they're doing it now. But took a while, guys. Come on.
Yeah, no kidding. So, the game doesn't do well. Donkey Kong is put on ice for a very long time, and then finally gets its big surprise reveal with Donkey Kong Country Returns, which people were not that excited about.
No.
The thing that Donkey Kong Country Returns, like the issue there is that this was Retro Studios' next big project after coming off of Metroid Prime, and people didn't want a Donkey Kong game from Retro Studios.
They wanted a Metroid game.
They wanted more Metroid. Retro Studios is, like, if you ever, like, heard the story behind that studio, ridiculously talented developers, ridiculously, like, great artists and, like, game designers, and horrible management. Like, famously terrible management.
Dang, okay.
There's a reason why, like, after they did Country Returns, there was this big gap of time, and then they did Tropical Freeze, and then Retro Studios has not made a game since then. And that was, like, a decade ago now. I love Donkey Kong Country Returns, but it is nothing like Donkey Kong Country.
It doesn't...
It might be a 2D platformer, but the gameplay of it is incredibly different. If you're someone who's like a massive fan of Donkey Kong Country specifically, and you love the whole 2 characters with like different movesets and the exploration and all the secrets, this game isn't that. This game is a hardcore action platformer based on speedrunning. It is, in fact, I believe, the best Sonic game that's ever been made.
That's great.
In that, like, the whole concept of going super fast, holding that momentum, and rolling around everywhere, that's being done in Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. I'm not seeing that very much in Sonic these days.
I believe that Donkey Kong Returns is, like, one of Donkey's favorite games of all time.
Tropical Freeze specifically, I consider one of the best 2D platformers ever made. Though... It's going to be dethroned pretty soon, I'm sure. Like, platformer, there's some very dedicated platform makers, and...
You also got to consider that you don't play a lot of indie games.
No, well, that's where I'm saying, like, the good stuff is coming out.
Have you played Celeste?
I've started playing Celeste, and Celeste is a masterpiece.
I was going to say.
Celeste is... Well, okay, Maddie Bryce is... She's famous for making ROM hacks for Super Mario World and stuff.
Right.
She's a Kaizo level maker. She is also sadistic.
Right.
And one of the best, like, level designers of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, so, like, That should be kind of a key as to where things could go.
Like, you take someone who already makes, like, the best Mario levels ever and just have them make their own game, and then you get Celeste.
Yep.
Masterpiece.
Absolute, yeah. All right, Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong Bonanza. Finally.
Is that actually the next one?
There's a big gap. There's like a 16, 17-year gap or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, there is no Donkey Kong title for a really, really long time, and now we get this weird redesign where it's technically more like the original design by Miyamoto, where he's more of a silly cartoon character.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say, I'm already used to this. Like, I've seen this face all over the place. It looks normal. It looks natural to me. Like, when he's got his tongue hanging out, that doesn't feel like DK as I'm used to.
No.
But everything else, like, he looks like a well-animated character to me.
I will rehash what I think I've already said on here. I don't particularly like the redesign. I prefer this man to this man. That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I still think the game's going to be dope, and it doesn't bother me enough to like not want to try it.
You're going to be spending most of the time looking at his back, not his weird goofy face.
And like even in the cutscenes, like
But,
I'm sure
that click on that one.
Yeah, I did immediately.
That's the thing that's driving some people mad. That's the thing that's annoying the crap out of people is that face.
I don't like it's whatever. It's just like a face. It's just part of it. But like I don't know. It doesn't. I don't like it.
Well,
I
the
prefer
Rare
it
that was
different.
I mean, the DK that was designed by Rare wouldn't make faces like that because he
No.
was cool. You know, the Donkey Kong Country begins with Cranky playing his little phonograph, and then DK drops in with a boombox and he slams it down and he knocks Cranky off the girder and he starts fucking doing hip hop dancing, and then Cranky throws like a TNT barrel in this little slapstick thing.
Yeah.
Guy's Donkey Kong. He's the rude, cool ape. He's your answer to Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, no, that was never.
I think it's literally just like that's the DK that I grew up with, and you grew up with the original.
No, I grew up with the one that you, dude. I just have a huge appreciation for the history that I'm able to like look at that and go, actually, I kind of like that.
Okay, that's fair.
Like a good example, like me and my brother Alex were talking about the design of Link over the years, and both him and I are in agreement that the assertion Miyamoto made in Ocarina of Time that Link should be a little bit kiddie, should be a little bit silly, is important to the character. We both love the Breath of the Wild Link outfit where he's got the shorts.
Yeah.
Because it looks silly, because it looks funny, because it captures the spirit of the character that we feel Link should be way better than, say, that Twilight Princess was a chainmail and he's flipping around the sword and he's being all badass and awesome.
Yeah,
you know?
no, I agree with that. I thought Twilight Princess was cool.
It
as
is
a
cool.
game, but like I think Link works better in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
I'm like, I like Twilight Princess. I think it's a really good game, but the tone, the attitude, the aesthetic, it's so edgy.
It is.
And it's not allowed to actually, delve into that kind of subject matter. It's not allowed to actually be dark. It's got references to Berserk, but it's not allowed to do Berserk.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Because if it does Berserk, that's a problem.
We're not talking about Zelda. We're talking about Donkey Kong. Pauline, little girl character.
Sure is.
I am predicting a possible problem.
Okay.
I suspect, based on all the footage that was in that video, that she will be fully voice acted.
Okay.
And that's where I have a problem, because Nintendo does not have a good track record with voice acting.
I've never thought of it, but no. And didn't they like dick over Charlie Martini, the voice actor for Mario, recently?
No, they've just recently replaced him because he's really, really
Oh, okay.
old, and it was going to be an inevitable thing.
Right. So that makes sense. I thought my memory might be wrong on that.
Like, the issue is that because Charles Martinet is the voice of Mario, Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, and like a bunch of other like side Mario characters. Like, anytime they need someone to do an Italian impression, they have him do it.
Yeah.
And like, we're getting to the point where this Mario is going to outlive Charles Martinet.
Well, yeah.
Like, they need to replace it. They need to find a new iconic voice.
So they just
you
did
don't
it
want a
now.
Donald Duck situation,
Yeah. Because like no, you can't really nobody can really replace Mel Blanc.
No, oh my God, that's the worst part of Looney Tunes today is the voices, because Mel Blanc's like voices are so iconic.
They're so specific.
He is such
it's just not repeatable.
Can I gush about Mel Blanc as a voice actor for like 10 seconds?
I guess.
Okay, so there's a classic Looney Tunes cartoon. It's one of the 3 Bugs versus Daffy with Elmer Fudd hunting. You know, the duck season, rabbit season 1.
Is it the one where Mel Blanc does
where Bugs dresses
voice?
as Daffy and Daffy dresses as Bugs, and they both do impressions of one another.
I just saw that today.
Yeah, it's like when you think about it, it's like, yeah, that's insane. He didn't do one voice between the two of them. You would think that his Bugs doing Daffy and his Daffy doing Bugs would be the same voice, but they're 2 different voices, and they're distinctly those things.
Yeah.
That's nuts. That is nuts. He is such a good voice actor. Anyway, Donkey Kong. Pauline, besides, like, that possibility, also, they have a bad track record for music with English lyrics.
They do.
Like, Jump Up Superstar from Mario Odyssey was pretty good, but they have this, like, bubblegum pop song they play at the end during the finale, which is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, honestly terrible. Like, I love it because it's such a funny moment, because it's right at the climax of the game. Spoilers for Mario Odyssey, but you're controlling Bowser being controlled by Mario, and it's just playing this goofy bubblegum pop song while you're blowing up the goddamn moon. It fucking rules. But the song sucks.
It does.
And that's what I'm like, okay, they're going to have a bunch of that in this Donkey Kong game, aren't they?
That probably will not bother me because I don't care as much about music as most people. Which is,
You will care about it when it annoys you.
We'll see. But the thing you just exampled, that didn't bother me at all when I was playing.
Well, what about the Smash Brothers, the Smash Brothers Ultimate song, the World of Light song? Because that one is another one where it's, like, grating. The lyrics are just so fucking dumb. They don't translate well at all.
I'm not into the menu of the game long enough for that to affect my playing time. Like, I hate that I had to admit this because no one's gonna appreciate it.
Okay.
When I was playing Smash, the newest one, Smash Ultimate, the most, I did it with the sound off, and I listened to whatever show I was having. I was playing a game while my show was on, and I didn't have any sound.
It's funny because Sakura made such a big deal about all the music tracks in it. He would always talk about like this is the actual value of the game. Here is like all this licensed music they had to license. When you hear the term licensed music, you think of like real pop music, not like video game tracks. But these are like sound tracks from like other studios they had to license.
They had to get like rolling around the speed of sound and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, for Sonic and stuff.
Yeah.
And everything they got from sorry, what's the studio that makes Terry Bogard Final Fight?
I have literally no idea.
God, my brain just broke.
It's not Konami.
SNK.
SNK. Okay.
Yeah, they got the entire goddamn SNK music library to go with the Terry Bogard update.
Yeah, and I was just like, I'm gonna listen to Bob's Burgers while I play.
That's fair. Like, it's video game music. It isn't real music.
Oh, there's another mic.
Don't you pressing on the mic?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to play whatever or listen to whatever I was watching. I didn't really care about the music, and I was playing alone anyway, so it didn't matter at that point. If I was playing with people, obviously, I'd have the music up. Mm-hmm. But that was my view.
Do you care about the Pauline reveal?
I'm interested in it because I want to know what it'll actually affect in the game. Because it doesn't seem like much.
I don't think it's going to affect much. It's more for the story. So the story, we now know the official story of the game. Donkey Kong is looking for golden bananas. Yep. He discovers Pauline, who's a little girl who's trying to get back home.
Born from a rock.
Apparently born from a rock. Nothing about it makes sense. I'm not going to go into that. But they need to go to the planet's core because if they do so, they get a wish, and they're going to wish for Pauline to go back home.
They're not going to wish for Pauline to go back home.
And meanwhile, they're going to play up Donkey Kong as this big selfish gorilla who's just there for bananas, and he's going to have to learn a lesson. He's going to have to help save the little girl.
It's going to be Wreck-It Ralph.
Classic children's movie. Well, you say it, but like, I wanted to point out that image of Donkey Kong with the overalls and the little girl on his shoulder with the top-knot fucking ponytail. It's literally Wreck-It Ralph. Like, it's such a... I hated the little rock character when they revealed it. I'm like, that's a bad sidekick. And now that they've got Pauline on his shoulder, I'm like, no, that's iconic. Yeah. That looks great. Like, that image of the gorilla with the little girl on his shoulder.
Great? I've seen this somewhere.
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh!
It was just stolen from Disney.
Yeah. It doesn't bother me. I'm intrigued. But I do... It's a Nintendo game for children, so I know that they're going to get to the core. and she's gonna be like, Pauline, wish to be home, and she's gonna be like, I am home. I'm not gonna wish to be home. And then it's not. It's gonna do like the thing they did with the Last Wish in Puss in Boots.
What did they do with the Last Wish? Oh yeah.
With Goldilocks.
Yeah,
Which
she
is like,
just
I'm already
realized
with my family.
I'm already with my family.
It's gonna be that. Spoilers.
Spoilers for it's actually a really good movie. Sorry about that. That's not gonna ruin it for you.
I forgot about the movie part. That actually has nothing to do with the. Well, it's a lot to do with that side character, but the actual like storyline doesn't matter so much. Puss's storyline, anyway.
What was that else? Sorry, I've been like on these all kinds of tangents. The thing that we started talking about before we started recording was I think that this new Donkey Kong game is being made in the Zelda engine, the one that they use for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And my theory is that all the tech that comes with destroying the terrain and stuff, I think they were developing that for Tears of the Kingdom, and they wound up axing it because they couldn't get it out in time.
I could tell. I'm almost certain they did that because there's the thing in Tears of the Kingdom where you can go through like the wall.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And that the way it does that is the same way that Donkey Kong goes downward.
One of the big innovations is the in Tears of the Kingdom were the caves.
Yeah.
Those were my favorite part of Tears of the Kingdom. And it's like, oh, that's how they made them.
Yeah.
The one segment of the Direct shows an optional mode where you can like sculpt, it's like a little sculpture minigame thing.
Yeah.
And they got different materials and you can paint it and stuff. And the tech, I can't wait to watch the GDC presentation that comes out after this game comes out because I want to know about like the game development history and the tech behind it. They're taking that like Zelda like chemistry engine where all the different materials and items have like properties associated with them and how they interact with one another, and they're like cranking that up to 11. They showed a part where Donkey Kong is like picking up like big balls of sand and he's throwing them at a wall, and because the sand is lighter than the rock wall, instead of breaking the wall, it's just sticking to it, and he makes like a big long like bridge out of it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they were showing with the sculpting thing. It's like, okay, this is the different materials and how they're going together, and they're sculpting the different stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is what Nintendo is using to make levels right now.
Yeah.
And that is really cool.
The one they showed, we would show you the video, by the way, but Nintendo sucked.
But Nintendo sucks.
The one that they showed with Donkey Kong's head, to me, immediately, I was like, that is a Mario Galaxy level.
Yeah. Like, this is probably going to be used to make the next Mario game.
Yeah, they'll probably make a Mario Galaxy 4. That'd be kind of cool.
Do you think it will be another Mario Galaxy?
I'm hoping. Mario Galaxy's dope.
I think they're probably going to want to try to do something new. They like to do that.
They do like to do new things, but they could do something new with Mario Galaxy.
Let's see.
Well, I think we're pretty... I mean, we went on a many tangents, and we talked about the history of Donkey Kong, but I think we're pretty much good on it.
I love Donkey Kong.
I think Donkey Kong is going to be dope. I'm really excited for the game. I don't know how I'm going to play it. I'm definitely not going to get a Switch, but I'll play it regardless.
I mean, I will probably have the whole game spoiled for me when I watch some speedrun of it, and then I will eventually play it in a couple of years on my Switch 2 that I will eventually get.
With that, let's transition back to me. I want to talk about my Next Fest games. These are the last Next Fest games I played. There's only like 5 of them, I think. All of these are no longer available for demos, I don't think. You can double check.
Sorry, podcast listeners.
Yeah. But here is one of the trailers, no sound. It's called Pioneer. What I wrote was, confusing-ass game, weird premise, super long and annoying tutorial took about 90% of my time, turned out to be an MMO arena shooter in the same vein as Warframe. Lame. Yeah, so I didn't know what this was going to be like exactly. I kind of thought that it was going to be more like Remnant, to be honest. I don't know if you know where the Remnant series at all had been.
No, I've never played any of the Remnants. I don't really know much about it.
They're basically like somewhat multiplayer-ish Dark Souls, actually.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cool.
It's way more like Dark Souls than you'd think, based off of what it looks like. But yeah. This is just sort of like a weird kind of MMO thing in the similar vein as... like. It's got like a Stalker-esque aesthetic.
Well, the trailer,
idea.
I'm just seeing first-person shooter footage, and that tells me nothing about like the game world underneath, like whether this is level-based or multiplayer or what.
It is level-based.
But I'm seeing a lot of the world and universe, and I'm getting heavy Stalker vibes.
Stalker, but like up to like 11, because Stalker's a little bit more like
grounded. Real.
Yeah, we'll say.
Based on a real science fiction property that's pretty good.
Not my thing. I don't really like MMOs, generally speaking. The only MMO I've any interest in right now is the Dune Awakening game, which I haven't tried.
Mm-hmm.
But this really didn't tickle my balls or whatever you want to say. It wasn't my thing. I don't know. You can check it out if it's your thing, but not me.
I've never liked MMOs.
No.
Like, the appeal of playing a game that has a bunch of other people in the world while you're doing it acting stupid annoys the crap out of me. Like, I would hate playing World of Warcraft and, like, trying to immerse myself and do, like, a fantasy character in a fantasy world doing quests, but there's some jackass dressed like an idiot jumping up and down.
Well, I will say, I think to be fair to World of Warcraft and all the other MMOs...
That's just an example, but...
I think that's, like, not... I think that's not the attitude they want you to go in with, but I don't think it's unfair for you to try to do that. Because there's worlds that you can do where you're able... You can play, like, RP levels, where you can do exactly what you're talking about, and everybody's acting a specific way.
No, see, that's the thing. I thought that that's what roleplay servers were like before. That's not what roleplay servers are like.
It depends on the server.
It depends, but most of the time, it's people who want to make, like, LARP sessions where they have these pre-written stories, and they're acting out their stories in the setting of the game. It's not them playing World of Warcraft in character. They're not really concerned about doing, like, World of Warcraft quests and stuff like that.
But I think, like, if you're trying to play MMO, generally speaking, you're not trying to be immersed in the, like, context of the video game. You're trying to be immersed in the numbers.
I guess, but the thing is that when you sell me on the concept of an MMO, it's the original thing that sounds like it would be the appealing
You want
part.
to play Guild Wars 2, you don't want to play numbers go up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this is definitely not my thing. Pigface.
Good name.
Pigface is this going to be the whole thing? Okay. Pigface is a game...
Interesting.
Is this the game, actually? Yeah, okay. This is a game that is basically Hotline Miami with immersive sim tech, and then you are first person.
Mm-hmm.
So you play as a woman of some kind.
A woman of some kind.
Well, it's not clear. She has like a pig face, I believe. Something on her head.
Do you even see it? Like, most of the footage has been first person.
No, it's going to be first person. What I wrote was, pretty simple immersive sim, cool aesthetic, reminds me of Hotline Miami, pretty fun and short demo, might be too easy of a game. So, the idea is that you literally, you're like being blackmailed into committing murder, and you have to go fight and murder a bunch of, like, gang members, we'll say.
Okay.
So, you put it on a level, and it's like, how you do this, how you get the stuff done is up to you. So you can go in full stealth if you want. You can go in full guns blazing. You can do anything in between. Super simple. Not at all complicated or, like, difficult to understand. It's a pretty basic immersive sim within this regard.
But you keep on saying Hotline Miami, so I'm guessing you don't spend a lot of time doing stealth.
You don't. I mean, it's up to you. Like, you can. It's one of the options is to be able to do it all stealth-wise. But when I played it, I just took a gun out and just started shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun. The only issue is that it's really short, what we have right now. And I'm sure there's more that you could do with it, but at the moment, it's kind of just like, here is a first-person game. You get like a thing, and you can throw it at an enemy and kill them. I don't know. It's okay.
Oh, I forgot. So out of 5 for
Pioneer. 2 out of 5 for Pioneer. I think there's merit to it, but it's not for me.
And then Pigface.
I want to say 4 out of 5 because I really like I like a lot of aspects of it, and I want to see it continue. I think it's cool. I'm interested in what's going to happen later down the line, but at the moment, I'm like, whatever. Let's show some more. Oh, this is your apartment.
Very grungy.
Very grungy. All right, and then I just don't have much to say about it. I think it might be my biggest issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the worst. So, some games are bad, but they're interesting.
Some games are good and they're great, but then there's like games that are mid, and it's like they're the worst thing you can be.
They're just forgotten.
Yep.
Sorry, Pigface. I like the name.
I mean, we'll see. I'll try to come back to it if I remember.
Yeah.
Dog Witch.
Dog Witch is another great name.
Dog Witch is kind of great. Here's what I wrote. Super fun looking Slay the Spire dice building roguelike. Very hard, very punishing, but also very rewarding when you finally win. The devs are also donating money to a dog charity, which is based in dog pilled, which is the words I wrote. So the idea behind Dog Witch is that you get a 6-sided die. You can affect what of these things are going to be on the die, so that when you roll it, you might get like a thing that does more damage, or does shields or whatever, and you have to go through Slay the Spire-esque gameplay. I mean, it's Slay the Spire-esque, I should say, but you don't actually have choices at the moment.
I love the goofy character designs, the
Yep.
super low poly 3D models. The
Just
titular
pulls out a
dog witch
gun.
is hilarious. And
The dog
cute.
witch you can change. You can customize.
Oh, yeah?
You can make the dog witch giant, like a big mastiff, or you can make it tiny, like a chihuahua.
Oh, my goodness. Different dogs? That's so good.
And then, your wand and everything will summon different friends. You can get different stuff. It's pretty cool.
But what makes it stand out from, say, Slay the Spire?
It's way harder than Slay the Spire.
Wow, okay.
Like, I will reveal the reason I know about this game at all is because of Northern Lion.
Ah.
He played it as a sponsor. He played on his stream. He did not beat it. I don't know.
Did he like it, though?
He loved it. But
Then this game's good.
I want to make clear who Northern Lion is if you don't know. He's like the guy that played Slay the Spire.
Yeah.
He is like the guy. Actually, the reason that Ben and I know of him, the first time we
Yeah,
ever
the funny
heard of
thing
him-
is that he's like this long-term successful streamer. Like, he was one of the first, like, Dark
Yep.
Souls guys, but I never fucking knew him about Dark Souls, despite
Nope.
loving Dark Souls. No, I learned about him from Slay the Spire, the game I don't play.
I didn't learn about him through either of those things. I learned about him from our friend Silas,
Yep.
who told us about him all the time when he was really into the Slay the Spire and Binding of Isaac. And he didn't beat it.
Yeah.
I did.
His thing is literally these kinds of games.
It's not even a dig at him. It's a hard game. It's difficult,
Snake Frog King.
but it's dope. I would highly recommend giving this a look through if you're at all interested, because it's dope as hell. I also think dice builders should be more.
I mean, so I kind of hate when, because there's nothing wrong with design trends, and there's nothing wrong with having lots and lots of different kind of things.
Yeah.
But like, deck builder is a key word.
Yo, it's going on so long. It's been such a long time since it won't go away, but I get it.
I don't know how fans of deck builders feel, but if they're anything like me in Metroidvanias, it becomes very, very tedious when you're trying to figure out what are the ones that are actually worth paying attention to.
Yes.
You no longer get excited for Metroidvanias, you just get tired.
I will say, I've played quite a few deck builders in various different variations.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are pretty much great.
Yeah.
Like, almost all of them.
I mean, when I review Party House on UFO 50,
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite games on the collection, and I don't even like deck builders.
All right. That was Dog Witch. 5 out of 5. Definitely check it out.
5 out of 5.
5 out of
Wow.
5. No, I'm not human. I think that you will be most interested in this game. This game is weird.
Yeah, I'm already really interested in Oh, wow.
I had the most to say about this game. Weird and esoteric horror game in the same vein as Papers, Please. The sun is exploding and you and almost humans are coming from the ground to kill you. But they can only enter your house if you let them. Super weird, extremely creepy art style. Cool idea for a game. Not sure if I'm doing it right. Yeah,
This
so
looks incredible. What a style.
do you remember when we watched the movie that Jake wanted us to watch? Threads?
Yes, yes.
This is like playing Threads.
That's one of the worst things you could say to a certain kind of person.
If so, people probably don't know what Threads is. Threads is like a 19.
Threads is famous.
It's not that famous.
Well, not famous. Okay, so if you're
I'm gonna explain it.
if you're Gen X, Threads is famous.
Threads is a movie that was like
A made-for-TV BBC
Yeah.
premiere film.
that was entirely based around the idea of what would happen, literally what would happen if a nuke goes off.
Yeah, it's very much like we're trying to write a realistic propaganda piece of like, okay, this is why nuclear holocaust is bad, y'all. We really do not want bombs to go off.
Yeah.
In any circumstances.
And we watched that for movie night.
It's very depressing.
It's incredibly depressing. But this game is kind of like that. The only difference is that instead of it being a game or instead of it being a story where a nuke goes off, people come from the ground and the sun gets too hot for you to be able to go outside during the day.
Oh.
So what happens is during the day, you have to like talk to the people in
So it's a global warming version of Threads.
kinda, yeah.
Oh, God.
But like global warming to the absolute extreme.
Oh god, that could be existentially depressing.
But what happens is during the day, whoever's in your house, because people are going to be in your house. The idea that the government has told you have to let people come into your house because there's danger outside.
Okay.
So there's people in your house, and you have to go around to them and be like, "Hey, are you one of them? Are you one of them?" And if they say they're gonna say no, but you can test them and try and figure it out.
Okay.
And if you find that they are one of them, you
So it's like a hidden role kind of thing where you got to investigate people.
kinda, yeah.
Okay.
And then at night, you have to go to your doorbell, and people come and be like, "Hey, let me in. I'm not one of them. I'm normal. Promise." And that's the game mostly.
Okay, and you said Papers, Please. Okay, I'm getting this now.
Yes, it's really, really weird, but it has such a cool art style.
So the art style for our listeners, it looks like they're okay. First of all, it looks like they're taking photos.
Yep.
Then it looks like they're photoshopping those photos to be like very exaggerated kind of cartoon characters, like they're morphing people's proportions a bit. And then and like heavily stylizing those. And then it looks like a superimposed image, almost like they created it scrapbook style. Like they cut it out, the photo, and pasted it onto another photo to make a new image of like a character in a place they were never at. And the entire game looks like this.
I would describe it as if they took pictures with the Game Boy camera.
Yeah, good one. Awesome.
Yeah,
Absolutely awesome.
Look, if you're into horror games and you don't buy this, there's something wrong with you. Our mutual friend Nathan has had this on his wish list for years, apparently.
The nice thing about horror games is that there is always going to be an audience of people who are going to try out every single indie horror game, no matter what.
Yeah, even the ones that are really bad.
It's just like movies. Like, there's going to be billions of horrible B-movie horror movies, and there's just some people on this planet who are dedicated to watching all of them, no matter what. They know they're going to be bad. They're expecting them to be bad, but they're going to watch them, and then they're going to tell you about how bad they are. Well, yeah, them and others. Like, our friend Mike is like that.
Yes. Okay, so it's dope. Like, it's cool. I would give it a 4 out of 5 because I'm not really into horror games, and I really don't know if I did it right.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I did a survey directly after this, and they were like, "Did you ever interact with the radio?" And I was like, "There was a fucking radio?" That's like apparently a part of the game I just didn't engage with.
That's why it was in the survey, dude. They were
what,
fully expecting that.
That's why I said, not sure if I'm doing it right. All right. Final game from Steam Next Fest that I played, the final one. It's called Rent Lord.
Literally in the title, Balatro-like real estate management sim.
Kind of lame game about buying property and collecting rent. Problem is you don't really do anything beyond that, and it feels underwhelming.
So this is worse than that stock market one.
Like, the stock market one's actually interesting and fun. This is not. So the idea is that you are buying land. You're being a landlord, right? So you buy a house, and it goes in here, and the issue is that you buy the house, you have a rent, and it has like 1 multiplier. Nothing else happens. In order to get anything else, you need to go to this thing, this plugin exe, and that's gonna like add to your potential multipliers and everything, give you options. But all of them cost money. Everything costs money, and you start with like $2,000.
Okay.
Or maybe it might be 25,000 actually. I'm not sure.
Doesn't matter.
You start with an amount of money that isn't really enough if you want to get started. So you have to buy property, get the rent, and the rent's going to be like not enough because these numbers are showing like 6.8K. That's not even close to what I started getting. When you start, you were getting like $100 per, and that's just like you pay $5,000 and you get $100.
You're saying that their underlying math was making the game not fun.
There's nothing to it. And then after you buy the property, there's nothing else to do but wait. You have to hit the button and go to the next day. And then if you don't have enough money to buy more property, or you don't have enough money to get any of the plugins, there's nothing to do. So you wait again.
Now, I've never played the game, so I don't know much about it. But I know the title, Luck Be a Landlord. Are you familiar with it?
Yeah, it's bad.
It's bad?
I don't like it. Compare Luck Be a Landlord to Clover Pit, which is coming out soon.
Mm-hmm.
Clover Pit outdoes it by every measure. Luck Be a Landlord is really lame.
Well, Luck Be a Landlord's an idle game, isn't it?
No.
No?
No, it's a roguelike slot machine game.
It's also a Balatro-like.
It was before Balatro.
Okay.
To my memory, I believe. I can always double check.
Well, it's kind of weird to me that there is this new subgenre of finance-themed deck builders.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. Yeah, 2023. That's definitely before Balatro. I think. If it's not before Balatro, okay, it is. Yeah,
I find criticizing landlords very funny.
Yeah.
Like, I think making fun of landlords as a concept is hilarious on its own.
Yeah.
I kind of wish these games were better, though.
It doesn't even make fun of it. There's just nothing to it. That's the problem with it. Is like there's no game.
Literally, the best critique of capitalism that's ever come out of the gaming space is still going to be Cookie Clicker.
Yeah, because Cookie Clicker was supposed to be an absurd thing. But here, look at what they say. So, buy properties. That's your first thing.
Okay.
Collect rent. Okay, done it. Buy plugins. That's how you get the special features up here. You can't see my hand, but whatever. Expand your portfolio.
But you're not...
Collect even more rent. That's the whole game.
Are there synergies? Are there cool things you can figure out?
There are synergies. The way that I was able to beat the demo was by buying all farms, and if I bought all farms and I had the farm-specific stuff, I was able to make my multiplayer like go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So there are synergies. It's just like...
It's just really not standing out compared to other ones you've played in this, let's be fair, saturated genre now.
It's somewhat saturated. I don't even think it's the problem. It's just that, like, this is the whole screen. You don't do anything after you've bought stuff. You buy property slots, which is, like, why, and then you let them go, but you don't, like, play a card, for example.
Okay, so it's like if in Balatro, after you were done with the shop screen, you hit next, and then it played an animation, and then it went to the next shop screen.
Basically.
Without the actual part where you play the card game and you actually have to actively think.
Yeah. There's nothing to think about. You just have to, like, buy the stuff and then go the next day.
So it kind of sounds more like an idle game than it does a deck builder in that sense.
Yeah, but
it doesn't... not playing a card game.
It'd be more of an idle... It'd be better as an idle game because then you could determine a lot of stuff. Like, if it was an idle game where what you do is in real time...
Mm-hmm.
That would be a much better experience because then you could just come back to it every once in a while. Like, oh, I collect all this rent. Oh,
that would be interesting.
Yeah, but the way it is now is everything has to be done manually. So you go and you collect rent, and then you go to the next thing, and it's like, meh. I'd say 1 out of 5.
1 out of 5.
It's just boring. Maybe if they do more stuff with the screen, because one of the things that I loved, I'm gonna pull this up.
In hindsight, Peter Molyneux was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
When he was implementing landlord mechanics in the Fable 2 back in the day.
So I've told you about this game. This is not what I want. Multiple times now. This is like a game I want to exist more.
This is Last Call by Zachtronics.
Zachtronics. You've heard of him, right?
Zachtronics is one of the coolest developers of all time.
This is his last video game.
This is his most recent?
No, his last one.
He's not
done
making
making video games.
That's tragic.
According to this game, I believe it's true, but this is the last one he's ever made, and the entire idea is that you are playing a like Atari old game computer thing.
Okay.
And you have a few games you can play, like Solitaire, because he's really famous for making Solitaire. If you didn't know, and then there's Hanafuda Solitaire or Kabufuda.
That's so cool.
There's this, whatever this is.
Dungeons and Diagrams. That's cool. So you're playing like old-timey like PC games that would come like, built in with your operating system.
This one's really cool because this is like you make a CPU.
Just to remind our listeners, this is not one of the demos. This is just a game that's been out for a while.
This is a game I think more people should check out.
Yeah, I should check this one out.
You should specifically.
Well, so I appreciate Zachtronics, but I don't play Zachtronics games because they're in a style that is not my thing. The thing is that like I recognize the quality of their development and the genius of their design.
Well, this right here, this is a game where you basically make a CPU.
This is so cool.
I don't know how the fuck it works. That's one of the biggest problems with these games. None of them are really explained. Here's the one where you make a mech, or you make a Gundam.
Oh my god.
Yeah. You have to make a conveyor belt game.
So this is all built into one game.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, this really is his last game.
Yeah. This is this weird-ass fucking puzzle game.
That looks cool.
It's all about flesh. But, like, it's a really dope video game that I really like, and nobody cares about it, really. And this is the sort of game I want to make. I want to make a game where you have a You have an operating system that you're operating within,
Okay.
and you do stuff within it. Sort of like this, or sort of like Hackathon, or whatever it's called. And that's what I kind of wanted the Landlord game to be, and it's not. It's lame. Lame as fuck. 1 out of 5. That's the whole thing.
All right, then.
Yeah, so luckily I'm done with that now. I don't have to worry about Next Fest games for however long it takes for them to make new ones.
Yeah, sorry to our listeners. You can no longer play any of these demos, but you can still check out the games.
I wouldn't say that necessarily. Sometimes they keep them.
Well, they're sometimes like they'll take them off of Steam, but they'll still be available on itch.io.
Something like that. But they're pretty fun. Besides that, this week, what have I been playing? Nothing. I was playing some Streets of Rogue.
Streets of Rogue? Which one is that?
You ever heard of Streets of Rogue?
Well, I'm assuming that is a roguelike beat 'em up.
Not exactly.
I'm sure Sam has played. My brother is a big fan of beat 'em ups and the beat 'em up genre.
It's not a beat 'em up. I don't.
Then why is it using the name Streets of Rogue?
Because that's what it's called. I don't know. It is a civilization game, maybe you could call it that. But the idea is that you go onto a level, you are a specific kind of character, and you have missions to do.
I see. Okay, so that's more like a top-down. That's disappointing. So Streets of Rogue, I was assuming was a riff on Streets of Rage, which is of course a riff on Streets of Fire, that movie that I had you watch that you were thoroughly unimpressed by.
I wasn't thoroughly unimpressed.
I'm thoroughly unimpressed by it. It's only the beginning and the end that are good. The entire middle is pretty snoozeworthy.
But this is I think it's similarly in nature to an immersive sim, but the idea of this is that you go in and then you have a million different ways to affect everything.
I see.
So, for example, that's actually a really great example just showed. So this is a thing where they need to get an item from this character, but they couldn't. They tried talking to him, it didn't work. So they got these people, I think they're called, what?
These little NPC characters?
They're not Crips, but they're close.
Okay, but they're like the in-universe equivalent of the Crips.
There's also Bloods.
Okay, they got a Blood and Crips kind of dynamic.
You can play as them.
Neat.
And then you can get a gang.
Neat.
So he got those to kill this person so you get the item.
How long has Tiny Build Games been developing? Because they used to make stuff for Newgrounds.
They do not develop. They are a publisher.
Oh, that makes sense.
If I'm not mistaken.
That explains why I see their icon everywhere.
And then Streets of Rogue 2, how did this not get me to a trailer? That was annoying. What the hell, YouTube?
YouTube sucks, dude.
Yeah. Streets of Rogue 2 is going to be a similar concept, but you can drive, which is cool. You're also...
this looks way better than Streets of Rogue 1.
This is an open world game.
Ah.
Yes. I didn't want
Still
to
looks way better.
I didn't want to get your hands too...
I was never going to play a game like this anyway.
No.
But I am impressed by the footage I am seeing.
Ride?
He's riding on a dog! He's riding on a dog, people! Now they're riding on a bear! Okay, Streets of Rogue 2. Fucking must play. 10 out of 10.
Oh, but the idea of all these games, of this one and the last one, is to become mayor.
You have to become the mayor? That's the goal?
The mayor. And the way you can become the mayor is you got to get the hat.
You got to get the hat.
So, you could kill him. That's an option. You can just kill him and take the hat. Or you could get elected, which means on every level you're becoming friendly. You're going to certain places and being like, ha, and then everyone goes, ha, and buy drinks.
So,
gain popularity.
That's so brilliant. So it's an immersive sim, but like because the goal is become mayor, what they actually have a good... Because they never do dialogue. They never do social interaction in immersive sims. Like you play Deus Ex, and it's like, well, you can stealth and you can shoot and you can kind of talk to people, but it's not like you can play the entire game by just talking to people.
No.
But this one,
there's actually a character in this because you play it. There's a million different characters.
Okay.
You can play as you can literally play as an ape. You can play as a zombie. You can play as a vampire. You can play as a cop. You can play as Bloods and Crips. Play as anything.
Okay.
And there's a character, the Doctor, whose whole thing is they don't kill anybody, and if they kill someone. There's a whole mechanic I didn't explain to you.
Oh my goodness!
So the way that the way you can progress through the game is that you have to go and complete missions and then you get to the next level. The way that your character progresses, though, is that you have a mission that you have to do in addition to that.
Okay.
Kind of forgot. My bad. For example, the comedian, which is one of the options, he has to go up to like 10 different people in every level and tell a joke.
Okay, that's a great progression system.
Yes,
that's kind of like a video game equivalent of Alex's Deeds from his Brave hack.
Yeah,
and that's so good.
You go through every level trying to do stuff. So for the The zombie, you have to infect a bunch of people. The most effective way I've found to play zombie is on every level, you just find every single person and turn them into a zombie.
I do love this. I'm annoyed by the name Streets of Rogue, but this game is undeniably fucking cool.
I believe this was a game game originally that they
Makes
turned into
sense.
a real game.
Makes sense.
But I've been playing the original Streets of Rogue in anticipation for Streets of Rogue 2, which I don't know when that's coming out, but hopefully soon. 2025. They had a demo. They have the demo for this now. The demo was not very good.
Oh.
But that was because of, like, there was very little you could do. There was a lot of lack of clarity on what to do.
The thumbnail shows a guy in a Hawaiian shirt, a red-haired farmer girl doing a selfie, and a gorilla with a machine gun all driving in a car. And apparently, this was made to appeal to me.
Yep. Because you can play as the monkey. You can play as an ape. I don't know if I told you that. There's traffic jams. There's all weird. You can also build a house in this one. If you want.
Why not?
Fuck it. Build a house. Yeah, I'm excited for Streets of Rogue 2. Streets of Rogue 1 is also really fun. I'd recommend both the games, at least the first one, I should say, because this one hasn't come out yet. But it's exciting. It's cool. There's zombies.
That's zombies in a lot of things.
That's most of what I did this week, is play that, and then... Oh, I guess I could also talk about the tribulations I had with getting the last episode up.
Oh, what happened there?
I deleted it.
You deleted the episode?
Fully deleted it, forgot entirely, and then I went back and I was like, ah, shit, I recovered it. It's back.
So is that going to be the lost episode now?
No, it's back.
No, it's still going to be called the lost episode, because you literally lost it and had to find it again.
I just didn't acknowledge that part.
We're acknowledging it right now.
But the other thing I did, which is actually kind of funny to me, is I edited the whole thing, got it all ready, got it set up, started going, and then when it finished, it was a white screen. I was like, why the fuck is it a white screen? And it's because I saved the video over onto itself.
Okay.
So I took this Starting Topic episode 6 video into my editor and then overwrit the Starting Topic episode 6 video with the same video.
So they're literally overlaid on top of one another, and it's just white.
Yes.
Oh my god.
That was what I did. Ben, do you have your UFO 50 game to talk about?
Yes. Okay. Well, as our listener knows.
Hey, we have two. Eric's joined too.
Okay, yeah, Eric's listening too. Hey, Eric, how's it going? I have been absolutely obsessed with the game UFO 50 and its collection of amazing games, and my plan was to review all 50 games as I beat each one.
Yeah.
So this is my second review for the game Bug Hunter. And Bug Hunter, unlike Barbudo, which is pretty simple and easy to describe, is a lot more mechanically focused. I would compare it a lot more to a board game. So
Gotcha.
I had to write down notes so I could concisely describe this one so our listeners can actually make sense about what I'm talking about. So, Bug Hunter, supposedly developed by Chun, Petter, and Smolsky, February 1983, and according to the mythology of the UFO 50 universe, was the first game developed by Alex Systems after co-founders Chun and Smolsky moved away from business software. So, if Barbudo was originally like an underground recorded on company time or made on company time thing, this was their first official game, apparently. Yep. In reality, it was created by John Petter, I believe. I might have gotten his name wrong. Oh no, I'm sorry, I had the notes open before, and I actually wanted to give proper credit where it was due.
To John, potentially, maybe. I don't know.
John something. I am sorry, John.
Or is it?
It's definitely John something.
Jonathan Bonathan.
John Perry.
John Perry.
G-O-N Perry.
Related to Luke Perry.
So, Bug Hunter is a masterpiece.
Okay.
If it were a board game.
Okay, there we go.
It is so amazingly elegant, it is so perfectly designed, that I could very easily just recreate it physically on the table for you to be able to play. Yep. I know exactly how I would do every single step of it. So, let me describe to you what Bug Hunter is like. Did I lose my tab? There it is. Alright, so in Bug Hunter, you play as a commando tasked with killing 30 alien bugs before 10 days pass. Each game begins with a randomly generated 6x6 grid. Each randomly generated map contains raised tiles, bottomless pits, and a few energy cubes, and a handful of evil alien bugs. You have a hand of 7 actions like move and shoot. Selecting and performing each action exhausts them, kind of like discarding a card. You can rest to recharge all of your spent actions. Pick up all the cards, put them back in your hand.
It's bad.
Enemy bugs don't get their own turns. Rather, every time you rest, a day passes and the field updates itself. More bugs appear, already existing bugs evolve to their next stage, and additional energy cubes are randomly spawned. Energy cubes are collected by walking over them and spent on new actions that replace and upgrade your old actions. Energy cubes can also be attacked to create an explosive AoE effect that can take out multiple bugs at once. I don't know why that guy is superimposed over it because he's from a different game. But he looks pretty cool.
Looks like a cool image. Have it up.
You lose when the commando dies, typically by accident, like by being caught in the AoE blast or hit by a bug's death rattle attack. Otherwise, you lose when the bugs evolve to the egg stage and you fail to take out any eggs before they hatch. You probably will also lose if 10 days pass and you fail to meet that 30 bug kill quota, but I've yet to see that happen.
Right.
You win Bug Hunter by completing 3 maps in a row. You cherry the game by completing 6 in a row.
Oh.
So, I have successfully golded this game. I've completed 3 in a row, and that was very, very, very stressful for me. I find this game very difficult. I do not
Same.
plan on cherrying this one.
I've actually played quite a bit of Bug Hunter. Actually, I didn't know I was that close to golding it. I got to 2 levels.
Oh, wow.
I was okay with it, but I don't think I like it that much.
The thing is that it's so well designed. It is brilliant and elegant, and it would make if this was something that I was watching Quinn's review for Shut Up and Sit Down, this is better than Pandemic.
Yeah.
It's a better solo board game than Pandemic is.
100% better than Pandemic, but I also have a hate boner for Pandemic.
You also have a hate boner for Pandemic. I don't mind Pandemic as much, but I enjoy it's the same kind of problem that I have with Pandemic in that I don't find this I need to stay ahead of this escalating problem in order to have fun, because it feels like you get to a point where you just can't win.
Exactly.
There's not a turnaround. It's like you either were staying ahead of it, or now you see the inevitable defeat ahead of you, and you might as well just restart now.
Yeah.
But you don't know exactly when that is, and you suspect that it was actually several turns ago and that you already wasted a bunch of your time.
Yes.
That's why I don't find games like this fun. However, Bug Hunter does have a multiplayer mode, and that's where it gets interesting, because, like board games, it's much more fun when you play multiplayer than when you play by yourself.
Sure is.
The way the multiplayer mode works is, unfortunately, it's competitive. 2 players are competing to kill, they're racing to kill, I think, 20 bugs.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of, days passing, each player gets 3 actions they can take. Well, the first person gets 2, and then the second one gets 3, and then it's 3 from then on, as a balancing thing for a first player advantage. Yeah. And when they have to rest, it will affect the day for everybody. And that can be really funny, because if you run out of actions and the next player already was out of actions from their last turn, you might have 2 days pass back to back, and that's when everything explodes out of uncontrollable.
Right.
But the thing is that the way I was playing it with my brother is we wound up doing it very cooperatively. We were talking about how we were going to take out all the bugs, and it was a cooperative puzzle. And as a board game, it was much more fun to do it that way.
Yeah.
But then, I did get that final kill, and it was just game over. Player 2 won. I was like, oh, well, that's kind of anticlimactic. That doesn't feel complete to me.
No, that seems kind of lame.
Whereas, the single-player mode, it is, if you're into those kinds of solitaire puzzles, it's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like the games that it generates, that you're always wondering if, it's fair if any single randomly generated, scenario can be beaten. I truly believe that this one can be.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's well-designed enough in that sense. But, I don't find that process fun. I don't want to stare at a screen and just think, okay, first I'll do that, and then I can replace that move with this one, and then I can jump up on the ledge, and I can take out that bug by stepping on it, and then shooting the third bug, and then if I get into this position, and you literally have to plan out everything you do, and then you just perform all the actions and you wait.
You don't want that planning stage of X then Y then X then Y then X then Y.
I just don't I'm not a Sudoku guy. I appreciate Sudoku. I literally went through a phase while I watched this YouTube channel these guys doing advanced Sudoku things. But just sitting there and doing a logic puzzle, that's not my idea of fun.
Yeah, there was part of, I think I told you about it. There's a part of Blueprints that was just like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was 3 boxes, and they have different statements on them, and you have to use the statements to figure out which one's which.
Mm-hmm.
Hated it every time. I'm probably one of the few people that did a version of that because you can upgrade the room where I got it so that I had 2 keys instead of 1. That way I could basically cheese it
So you could just always skip that one puzzle.
effectively because I hated it. But I wasn't bad at it. I got it most of the time. I just hated having to stop and be like,
Now I've decided how I want to rank these games because we were talking about doing like the tier list and everything before. I'm going to have the tier list, and that is going to be this is me as someone who loves video games and loves thinking about game design, rating it as the quality I think it deserves. But then I'm going to have my own personal ranking where I'm just saying, a list in order from top to bottom of this one's my favorite at the top, this is my least favorite all the way down to the bottom. And that's why if I were to do it Bug Hunter, I would say I think Barbuda was C tier last week.
I will have to double check.
I think if it was C tier, then Bug Hunter is just going to go, it's the tier above. It's B tier.
1 tier above it, got you. It's like
If I said Barbuda was B tier last week, then Bug Hunter is A tier. Like, if just comparing it to Barbuda, it is just a better game.
Yeah.
However, on my personal list, I'm putting Barbuda above it. I enjoy Barbuda more than I enjoy Bug Hunter because that's what applies to my personal tastes.
Yeah. That's fair. I thought Bug Hunter was fine. I don't know. I didn't know I was that close to goaling yet. I would have kept playing.
The fun thing, so going back to like the in-universe mythology of UFO 50 and like the fake games, this is something that definitely never would have existed. Like this was supposedly made in 1982, and like it uses modern like thoughts, modern ideas in game design that simply didn't exist back then, and didn't exist until they were invented in the board game space, not the video game space,
Right.
And looking up John Perry, he is a board game designer, not a video game designer. I looked at his like library of like his ludography, it's called. It's like a discography, but for a game maker.
Yeah.
And they're all board games.
Any good ones? Any ones that we know?
No, I didn't recognize any of them. I mean, they might be good, but I just didn't recognize them.
But we kind of talked about that with UFO 50 when we first started speaking about it, because one of the points that we made was that like having one button do multiple things.
Yeah, that wasn't something in video games back in the day.
Exactly. So like knowing that part, I don't think would bug me too much. I just didn't find the game to be that compelling.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't think I find UFO 50 to be as compelling as you do.
There's some design choices that reflect the times that I appreciate. Like the title screen is super, super basic. It literally just says Bug Hunter by Peter Smolsky and Chun or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's no music. There's no background music in this game at all. And that was a design choice to reflect like the games at the time. But it's also like if you had to listen to some annoying like music on repeat the entire time we were trying to solve those logic puzzles, that would have killed me.
Yes.
Like the silence is appreciated. I can play my own music if I want to concentrate, but I definitely don't need like the Mario song looping in the background. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Have you made progress with the next game?
Oh yeah, I've already beaten Ninpek, so I
Okay.
will have a review next week. And Ninpek is. We'll talk about Ninpek next week.
I was gonna ask if you wanted me to come and play that with you because I know it's 2-player.
I wouldn't mind it. So I want to fully test out the games in order to review them. So I want to try out all the multiplayer modes, but the person I live with does not enjoy hardcore action games. He enjoyed doing Bug Hunter with me, but I did play through like all the multiplayer options with him immediately afterward. And anytime we had like a hardcore action game, he was like, "I'm just not having fun."
What's that one game where on UFO 50 where it's like literally a shooter? Not even a shooter. It's a arena fighter basically.
Overbold.
Yes, is that it? I think that's the one.
Overbold is one of my favorites. He was not enjoying that one. That one has a really interesting multiplayer mode. It's a chicken mode instead of like a traditional like co-op or versus.
I don't think that's what I'm thinking of. Overbold. This is not what I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. So you said it was a shooter.
I said shooter, but that was a mistake. I meant like a fighter. It's like literally Smash, but 2 players, isn't it?
Oh, well, there's one that's kind of like there's one that's kind of like Towerfall called
Yeah.
What's it called? Damn, I can't remember. It's like a fighting game where like the gimmick is that like all the characters have different movement abilities and different attack abilities. That's the icon right there. I just can't remember the name of the game.
Yeah.
Oh, in a previous episode when I was listing the games I golded before, I mistakenly said Pin Golf was the game I golded because I just kind of guessed based on what game it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually that one we're talking about now that I can't even remember the title of.
Damn. Okay.
I don't love that one so far.
Well, I think that one would be more fun with people.
Oh, definitely.
That was my thing with it. I thought that was one of the first ones I actually played, unironically.
We actually did play that one multiplayer and had a little bit of fun with that one. But, like, Ninpek is a very, very hardcore action game. It is very much like classic Contra in that sense, and that is not his thing.
No.
So, yeah, I would appreciate having someone to play that with, but at the same time, I don't think that's going to change very much about my review.
I don't expect most of the games, like us playing games together, to change almost anything about your review. I just think that one would be actually fun to play.
You found another reviewing all of UFO 50. Hyper Contender, that one's
Hyper
called.
Contender. I mean, we're not going to look at any of the fucking ranks or anything. I just wanted to know what the game was called. Hyper Contender. Yeah, that game looked fun. That was like one of the first ones I played, and I was like, whoa, that was what kind of drew me to the series, because like that was so interesting, but it was like, I was playing by myself.
Yeah.
I also lost every time.
Okay.
I'm bad at it. But I think I could get better with more play time.
That's one I need to play multiplayer in order to review it.
Yeah.
Because I've already I golded that one right away because, like, they didn't make the AI super difficult for the single-player mode where you're just fighting a series of characters. It's just, classic arcade mode in a fighting game.
Sure.
Whatever.
I had trouble. When you get closer, we can...
Well, which character did you play as?
I tried all of them.
All of them?
Every time... I'm one of those people where if you give me all of the Smash characters in Smash, I try every single one before I determine which one I like.
I always want to be that person, but I end up always gravitating towards one that I end up wanting to play to the detriment of all the other ones. So in this case, it was Donkey Kong in Smash Brothers. Like I want to be good at every character in Smash, but I'm never going to be good.
I
at
never
every
expect to be good. I just want to try them all.
Mm-hmm.
Another being example, which is a game we'll be talking about at some point, which is Twilight Imperium.
Oh my goodness!
I am the Imperium player. That's me. But like, I never get to play him for one.
Right.
Because people always take him, and I'm like, no one's gonna take Imperium. Nobody likes Imperium. And then people take him, and I'm like, fucking what? But that's like my play style, and I'm like, nah, I want to try Sardak Nor, even though I know for damn sure I'm not gonna be good at Sardak Nor.
Yeah.
I'm bad at that.
You're an exploratory kind of player.
Yeah. I like exploring. I like being peaceful. But I don't like being the guy that punches.
So we got on a tangent. I kind of wanted to take the whole board game and bug hunter talk into our next subject, which is our board game that we brought in today.
Perfect. Yeah, we didn't bring in Twilight Imperium. That's another time. I thought about it.
That'll be its own episode. Twilight Imperium is a board game that is so big that it's got its own podcast dedicated to it.
It sure does. Space Cats and
Peace Turtles.
Peace Turtles. I could not remember.
Yeah.
I have never personally listened to it. Not that I'm against it. I just don't usually listen to it. But Ben has.
I actually really like that podcast.
I'm sure it's great. I just haven't engaged. That's entirely on me.
So what game did you bring to talk about today?
I brought Monikers.
Oh, classic.
So here's the thing about Monikers. This is not a complicated or I shouldn't say not interesting. It is interesting, but it's not a complicated board game.
This is a party game.
This is a party game. And we've only done this once now, technically, because the first time was in the last episode. The one time we've done this was for Inish, which is one of our favorite games. We played it like literally the next day almost.
Yeah. We had a great game of Inish after that. Our one listener, Eric, beat our asses.
He destroyed us, and it was so annoying because I win. I'm the one who wins.
I'm fine with this because after I want to say my very third game of Inish, I stopped winning from then on because Ryan, my co-host here, got really good at the game and just started winning over and over again.
Yep.
Like, I still love Inish, but like that is something that really hurts.
I'm sorry.
I just want to win this game.
Well, okay, I don't win every time.
No, you don't win every time.
Mike
because
also
sometimes
beats
we
me.
get surprise victories from Jake, Mike, and now Eric.
Yeah.
But never the surprise victory from Ben.
But Monikers is nothing like those.
No, Monikers is a party game, which generally party games are my least favorite type of board game, personally.
I would not say they're my least favorite, but I would say that I would almost not describe them as board games.
No, they're their own thing.
I would say that they're their own thing, and I think that's fine. But, like, this game is one of my favorites.
It's brilliant.
For a party game because what it actually is. No BS, nothing else. It's just charades.
Yeah.
It is charades in its most pure form. It is taking charades, making it kind of an okay thing. and then pureeing it down, distilling it to something amazing.
It adds a tiny little bit of strategy, which you wouldn't imagine could exist in charades, but it pulls it off, and it makes charades appeal to a person like me.
Yes.
Which is important because I am a charades hater.
Yeah.
I can't fucking stand that kind of thing. I do not like being in front of people. I do not like acting goofy. I do not like... I get embarrassed. I get self-conscious. I hate that kind of stuff. I hate playing charades. I hate it.
But monikers.
But monikers just takes this tiny little element and adds a bit to it that makes it so much more palatable.
So we're gonna play a little bit.
We're gonna play it? That was your plan?
I was just like, it's the easiest way to show it.
Okay.
I'll just be the one to do it. It's fine. You don't gotta get up.
Okay.
But it's easy. All right. So the way that it goes is it goes in 3 rounds.
Yeah.
So the first round, you get a card like the one in my hand, and you have to describe it to your other player, usually as a party, and you have to use as many words as you possibly can to describe what's on your card. So, for example, this what's on my card, I would say that this is one of the most famous comedians of the 80s and 90s.
Okay. George Carlin?
Nope. He was overweight and he passed away from an overdose.
Chris Farley.
Chris Farley.
Okay, there we go.
It's Chris Farley.
So he literally did what's that game? Just a trivia
it's just Trivial Pursuit almost.
Yeah.
And on these cards, if you can barely see it, I'm sure you cannot, there's text underneath that you can just literally read out.
Yeah, so they don't expect you to know it. They help you if you need to, give clues to what it is.
Yeah.
Because the game starts to saying in round 2.
Yeah. And then with round 2, I will have a stack of cards usually.
Yeah, we go through all these cards. We guess all of them using those rules where you're giving me clues, verbal clues without using the actual name of it.
Yep. So round 2, now I only have 1 word.
Yep.
I can only do this in 1 word. And the word that I would think most synonymous with Chris Farley is dependent highly on audience. I'm going to say Tommy.
Tommy. Oh, like Tom. Okay, clever. Tommy boy.
Or possibly nose, if you're really into dirty work. Because in the movie Dirty Work, someone bits off his nose.
Okay.
I think it was specifically a Saigon horror.
See, me personally, I use the strategy of trying to latch on to whatever part, during round 1, if something really resonated with us, if we made a joke, then I'm gonna make my 1 word connected to that.
Like Clippy, for example.
Clippy, that's the little
icon
paperclip from the Microsoft Word helper.
We'd probably make a joke about hating Clippy or something like that, or talking about that. You might just use Microsoft.
Yeah. The thing is that because you're using the same set of cards that you used in the first round, then it becomes less of a game of trying to 1 word is really hard to make guesses off of. But you know what the list of categories are because you already played through round 1.
You've got that predetermined context from round 1. And then from round 2, we have to act it out.
Round 3.
Round 3.
Round 3 is charades.
I don't know what I would do for Chris Farley, which is why I'm not going to get up.
I would probably reenact that one SNL sketch where he breaks the glass table by falling on it.
Yep, that's pretty good. I don't know if I'd get that as my issue, but you gotta figure a way to get the charades out, and you go up crazy.
The thing is that the thing I hate about charades is
it takes 10 minutes.
Yeah,
per thing.
And you're desperately trying to act out this thing, and you're just embarrassing yourself, and I hate it. But because of this round 1, round 2 primer, it makes the charades round so smooth and so fun, and maybe you can't guess it based on rounds 1 and 2. That's fine. You're still playing charades, you know?
Yeah.
And you're still going to be able to guess it from the charades thing. But it makes the charades so much more fun.
Because you have that list, right, in your head of this could be this section of things. It can't be anything. It has to be within this section of possibility. And then you get to see the thing and you go, oh, it's got to be Chris Farley. It's got to be Clockwork Orange. It's got to be whatever.
Yeah.
It makes it so much easier. Monikers is a really, really, really good party game.
Really
Highly
good.
Recommend.
I'm gonna say number 1. My number 1 favorite.
We have to thank our viewer Eric for showing it to us because he's the person who showed it to us.
Eric is our master of small box games.
Oh yeah.
He just has a knack for finding beautiful, elegant, small games.
Like Lure, that game you hated.
I liked Lore. I was just really frustrating because I did horrible, and it just seemed like I was doing something wrong, except I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was just really unlucky, 7 rounds in a row, and that was my very first experience.
Yep. It's cool. It's a cool game.
Well, maybe we'll talk about it on another episode.
We have to obtain it. I don't want to do that. Yeah, do you have anything else?
No, that's it for me.
Yeah, we kind of talked about Donkey Kong, at least you tried. Talked about monikers.
We talked a lot about Donkey Kong. We didn't talk that much about Donkey Kong Bonanza itself.
No, we did not. That was my point.
Well, what else is there to say about Donkey Kong Bonanza?
Um,
It looks like a fun platformer. If you
sure.
like Mario Odyssey, then you probably will like this new Donkey Kong game. To me, I see it as the spiritual successor to Hulk Ultimate Destruction that I never got.
That's also fair.
Hulk Ultimate Destruction is just one of the coolest games that was ever made.
It's crazy that they never do anything with Hulk in video games. Like, why are they making an Iron Man video game? What's the point?
Because Iron Man's popular.
Like, playing Iron Man's gonna be fucking lame.
Have you played Hulk Ultimate Destruction?
I think so. I definitely played one of the Hulk games.
Well, do you remember anything about it besides messing around?
I remember putting a car into making them into fists.
I would count that as messing around. Do you remember the first boss?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That because Spider-Man has a bunch of different villains that make for really cool levels. Batman has a bunch of different villains that makes for really cool levels. Who's Hulk's villains?
The leader.
Who's the leader?
He is he's really smart. That's his whole thing. He's really smart. Got a big head.
I don't remember this character. Do you? Oh, you named him.
There's also Absorption Man. His whole thing is that he can absorb materials, kind of like Kevin from Ben 10.
So the first boss of Hulk Ultimate Destruction is the Abomination.
Yeah, the Abomination would be the next one. The Abomination.
I never got farther than that personally, so I don't know what the second boss is. But like, I did read a lot of the original the original Incredible Hulk comics. So like, the Mole Man was an early one. Electro was an early one.
There's also the Wrecking Crew.
I don't remember them.
Wrecking Crew. They might be a Thor villain actually, but their whole thing is that they have like attributes toward like a Wrecking Crew.
Hulk is like the funnest Marvel character to play as conceptually, but like the story of Incredible Hulk isn't, a man versus a series of villains. It's a story of tragedy and society and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like, you don't have to play as Hulk. You can now play as Donkey Kong.
Exactly.
There you go. Problem solved. Get bananas, bitch.
Bonanza. All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Please do that. Even if you don't like our podcast, just keep on listening to us anyway, please.
Yeah, I mean, what's we'll grow on you. We'll grow on you.
I've had that effect on people.
Like mold.
The starting topic podcast. It's like mold. It'll grow on you.
Perfect. That's going in the description.
All right. Peace out, listeners.
Bye, listeners. Bye.